please join me in acknowledging that we are privileged to unlearn and relearn on the unceded and traditional territories of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh nations. Haichka.
My name is Brandon Peters. I am the curriculum consultant for the Vancouver School Board. I'd like to take this time to remember and reflect on the many innocent Indigenous children that went to the Canadian Indian residential schools. For generations, our old people told us stories, horrific stories, that took place in these institutions. I think for most of Canada, it was almost unfathomable, it was almost unthinkable that these things occurred in a place like Canada. It was really hard for people to understand that these things were true. I ask that we take up that allied role. I ask that you walk with us in this journey to reconciliation. Reconciliation is not only an Indigenous, that's something that is not only for Indigenous people. Reconciliation means the coming together of two parties. And I think it's important that we walk together, not one in front of the other, but we walk in line with each other. Reconciliation should be for all Canadians. With the unearthing of these children, the finding of these children, the children have called out. Their cries have become a battle cry for a battle cry. They have kicked down the doors of doubt. At certain points, I think we need to stop looking at these schools and not call them schools, because when a school has a graveyard, when the atrocities that have happened in these schools, when atrocities happen in a school, is it still a school? Schools should be places of learning. Schools should be places of nurturing. Schools should be places of growth. You shouldn't have to recover from school. So today, I want us to remember the day. I want everybody to learn the history of Canada's First Peoples. It's not just Indigenous history. This is every person's history. I want people to remember the impact that it has had on First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people. I want people to remember and reflect on the innocent children, the countless innocent children that this has affected. I want people to realize that everybody, even non-Indigenous people, are on a healing journey as they fight to interpret this very dark history, this dark moment in Canadian history. So with that, I want to say, be kind to each other. I want us to walk together, not in front of each other, but side by side, realizing that we're all relatives, that we are all each other in disguise. I want to thank those that are brave enough to share their stories. And for those people that have now come to the realization, I think it's important that we realize that it's a journey for everybody. Decolonizing, even for non-Indigenous people, is a thing. Thank you. I raise my hands to you.
Tanzi, good day. My name is Chaz Desjardins. My traditional name is Kamanisu Kamawat Pisuat, which translates from Nihiwiman into English as Helper of the Thunderbirds. I'm the daughter of the late Robert Edmund Desjardins, Naheo Métis, and the daughter of Diane Lorraine Johnson, whose ancestry is English, French, and Spanish. I'm a Treaty 6 Iskwé, and I'm a member to the Cold Lake First Nations, and I'm the mother of 2 young girls, Paige and Kaylin. I'm also the District Principal of Indigenous Education with the Vancouver School Board, and I'd just like to share some thoughts and add on to what Brandon Peters has shared and Davida Marsden has shared in regards to the significance and importance of this day, of National Day for Truth and Reconciliation. And I think about, our relatives, as Brandon says, our relatives. As Indigenous peoples, we consider each and every one of us as relatives. And with that in mind, I ask non-Indigenous peoples to understand that this day is going to be a day of grieving. There will be much heaviness. And what we seek for our non-Indigenous allies is to, as Brandon said, walk alongside us and be supportive. And when you're being supportive, we ask that you think about the TRC's calls to action. What are you going to do that day on September 30th? What's your contribution to this day? Because it is a commemoration. We must be not only being reminded of the 215 and beyond, of more Indigenous children being found daily, but we have survivors who are here with us, the old ones who have told stories. Their lived realities need to be validated. So with that, we ask that you really take time to reflect on that day. And as we say, reconciliation. Reconciliation, not just reconciliation. We want to think about reconciliation, but how are we going to action? How are we going to put our thoughts into action? And I leave you, with one quote, because I just need to remind everybody, many of us are direct survivors, residential school survivors. Myself, I know Brandon and Davida shared their story. My grandmother, my Nokum, and Kokum, as we used to call her, Marie Melanie Desjardins, attended residential school in Onion Lake, Alberta. And I was not privileged, nor did she share her story with me growing up. So I don't know what her experience was. But I don't need to know her experience to know that there were intergenerational impacts on my father, his siblings, and my own family. So with that, I want to leave you with a little teaching that my Nokum shared with us as kids growing up. And this is a very mindful reminder to everyone on the day of and the day before. And she was known for saying that the Creator, quote, the Creator gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth. So you can listen twice as much as you speak. And so I leave that with you on this day to think intentionally, not only about reconciliation and your part in this shared history of what we know as Canada, but also how are you going to action that in regards to TRC's calls to action. And with that, please continue to support Indigenous education workers, Indigenous education teachers and educators across the district. This work is a shared and collective responsibility, and we thank you for your part in that. Hi.
Annie, bonjour. My name is Davida Aphrodite Lee Marsden. I'm Anishinaabe Kwe and Lakota from Mississauga Scugog's Island First Nations in Ontario. My traditional name is Nuwabi, which means to see like a golden eagle. Presently, I'm here in Vancouver School Board as District Vice Principal of Indigenous Education. And I'd like to contribute to what Brandon has been saying and Chaz. We're in our 3rd level. I think that we've got residential schools systemically. We've got 60 Scoop. I am a 60 Scoop baby. And we also have the ministry where our children, Indigenous children, have been taken from their families, off the reserve, even out of hospitals. My grandfather was a residential school survivor. He used to talk about the horrific stories, things that he had been through and witnessed. He's passed away this year. I miss him dearly. We are honoring the children that we are finding all across Canada. We are bringing in songs of love and medicine and uplifting each other as we go through. I would call upon all of our allies, to come in and help us on this journey. We need your strength. So many of the teachers, Indigenous teachers and workers are getting tired, so come in and please support us. If I think about the news, I wonder why, this was a big deal, a couple of months ago. If I look at the news now, it's being covered over. We don't hear about the children and how many children we're bringing up. So think about those things, how do we move forward? How do we, hear the voices of those children that we're uncovering? Just don't tick the box. Don't bring somebody into your classroom just once or talk to an elder or, make a drum. It needs to be continuous education here in the Vancouver School Board. People are grieving. We're all grieving. So with that, I'd like to say thank you for your support, your continuous support, and let's keep moving forward in a good and healthy way. Miigwech.
Now we're going to sing a song that was written by one of my Tla'amin and Jaja, one of my Slamin relatives, Drew Blaney. The song is called Hat Nomach Tistamach. I love you and I respect you. So at this time we'd like to sing for the survivors and those that didn't make it home and those that continue to struggle with it. And for everybody listening today, the allies included. I love you all and I respect you. Hands raised. Thank you very much.
Tansei, hello, my name is David Delorme. I'm the District Vice Principal of Indigenous Education for the Vancouver School Board. I am Métis Cree French, originally from the traditional territories of the Treaty 6 people in Saskatchewan. I'm here today to share a poem that I wrote called Lost. It is a poem that connects me and my family to the residential school system in Canada. It is my hope that you will take the words that I share and lead to discussions or personal reflections for everyone. I was a child when they took me away. I was scared and sad nearly every single day. I missed my family, my mom and my dad. I wanted to leave because I was so sad. They cut my hair short and changed all my clothes. I was punished for speaking my language and missing my home. Many of us ran but could not escape. We prayed for our existence to take a new shape. Some of us died at the school. We were often beaten and punished when breaking the rules. It is a struggle every single day. My hope is for strength, and for this I pray. Sometimes I feel lost, and sometimes I feel sad. Sometimes I feel happy, and sometimes I feel mad. I'm trying hard to heal so my family will feel all that I love, all the love that I have to share, and for them I know I'll always be there.